Felicity from GetYourRockOut, and I'm here with the amazing Devin Townsend. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Yeah.
And you're not actually playing at Sonisphere today.
Not today.
But I've heard rumours that you're comparing, which is very exciting.
I've heard rumors of that as well, and I didn't realize what comparing meant until I saw that I'm supposed to announce bands and things, right? But I mean, again, I think I've gotten to a point with it all where stressing about any of that shit is just, it's going to happen, so let's just do it, right?
And what's the worst that you can do? You can get all their names wrong, upset everybody and slag them off on stage. And that would...
Life won't end, though.
No, it won't. Nobody will die and some people will laugh, and that's the sign of a good day.
There it is, yeah.
Yeah, and I just have to say that Casualties of Cool is absolutely amazing. I've been enjoying it so much. I mean, it's such a departure, I think, from recent things, but it's absolutely beautiful. I mean, how was the whole process for you? It must have been pretty intense to do.
I don't know about intense. I think the thing is, the nature of my work recently has been, how would I describe it? Well, everything I do is just reactive to whatever's going on, and so because my life has been so full of people and touring and bands and those sorts of things, I find that my reactions musically and my creative output reflects that in a way that is different than it was when I was younger. And that's just how it happens. I mean, that's how I write. I don't think about, okay, now I'm going to write a thrash metal record, and I write it. It's just, it comes out. But I think in the beginning, Ocean Machine and all those sorts of things, I wrote without that type of influence. And so Casualties is the first record that I've written without pressure and without an agenda, and I let it sort of take however long it needed to take. It took 4 years, I think, for that one to come together. And I mean, I don't enjoy singing lead, but it's...
Really?
No, not at all. So it's become this thing, though. It's what I do. I sing. So I often try and find other people to sing on the music in a way that complements it. And I don't find that I need a male voice because I can do that. And I think my music lends itself to female voice as well. So I tend to try and work with women who complement it in ways that the prior singers haven't. And I think Casualties was really good for me as well because Che and I didn't interact, which kept the dynamic totally neutral.
Not at all. I mean,
no, it was all over the internet. So essentially, I would send her music, she'd sing on it and send it back. I'd send her more, she'd sing on it and send it back. And I think by the time the record was finished, we'd been in each other's presence 3 or 4 times total. And I think that that's why it really worked for me, because it was separate from a personal interaction that colors it, you know? And so it was really the theme for the record that evolved from partially from that as well, where her voice was coming out of the radio in a way. And it was just a great record for me to work on because, again, like I said earlier, there was no pressure, there was no anything from anybody. And so when it finished, even now, no one knows about it. No one's necessarily paying too much attention to it, but the people that do like it maybe hear the things about it that make it right. I was thinking yesterday, it's just the world is so loud, that having something that's quiet that you can invest energy into was something that was just wonderful for me.
So how involved were you with kind of her interpretation of how you wanted it to sound? Were you involved at all, or did... Okay,
yeah.
So you're still...
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guided the ship, It's like, I think I like subtle intention when it comes to, guiding people. But it's certainly not... She was like, well, what do you want me to sing about? And I was like, well, I have a feeling that if you sing about whatever you feel like singing about, it will fit. And it did. So, Yeah.
And I mean, you say that you don't enjoy singing leads. I mean, why on earth not? So many of your...
When I was a kid, my grandfather forced me to sing at Christmas, and he had no sense of timing. And I think as a result of that, I've got a pretty contrary personality. So if somebody asks me to do something, my first reaction is to vehemently oppose it being done. And so I think that when it goes back to like childhood stuff, I remember just thinking like, fuck it, I don't want to sing, you know? And I think that now, as I get older, my thoughts of what I thought my life would incorporate effectively when I got older is much different than what it is. When you're 19, you're thinking, oh, when you're 40, you're going to want to be in front of a bunch of people and go to parties and go to festivals and things like this. And it's evolved quite the opposite, you know? I'd be fine to not hear live music.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I like playing and I like people, but I don't enjoy a lot of volume and I don't enjoy a lot of people. So I think it's, you know, you evolve and you have to sort of adjust your own frame of mind according to whichever ways things decide to take, right? Whichever routes they decide to take. So, you know, I'm incorporating it and I enjoy it, but it's certainly affects the writing in that way as well.
It's absolutely fascinating. And so what, I mean, when it comes to the Casualty show that's going on in September, I mean, what's going to be happening with that? I'm so looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. I don't know.
Okay, brilliant.
Yeah,
you know, I kind of felt as though that might be your answer.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's, you know, we've been rehearsing it and, you know, now Che and I are, you know, we've become friends and she's like, well, what should we do? You know, what should the parameters be for this? And I think because my world has typically been so structured, the lack of a safety net of, you know, the real performance elements is something that is kind of makes me nervous. But I figure that it's a good step to take as well. Just like learn the songs and see if we can create a vibe with our voices and our instrumentation that is similar to the vibe of the record without being identical to it, right? Yeah. But I mean, who knows? Who knows? It could really be good. It could really be shit. So we'll see. But I mean, so far it's been really good. So.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think you've ever. Yeah, I mean, I don't really think that you've ever like managed to pull off a really shit show. I don't.
Give me time. Give me time. We got tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, let's see what happens.
Like, are you playing any of the Casualty stuff tomorrow? Is any of that coming out? So that's complete.
We got 40 minutes to peddle our wares to a bunch of people that have never heard of us. So, you know what I mean? We'll be like, hey, waka, waka, waka. You know? We'll see.
So, yeah, well, I think for those watching, it's worth coming to the set just to see that part.
Yeah, come on.
That's definite recommend.
Yeah.
I think also congratulations are due on like the fastest pledge campaign ever in history, or something ridiculous like that for the pledge.
Well, I don't know about that, but I mean, it's like
it was just amazing.
It was amazing, and it you know, just as a side note, I've been guilty in the past of watching my own interviews, and you better not be watching this, Dev, because it makes you second guess your shit. And I mean, I just don't have any time or patience to do that anymore. And I think that goes back to the pledge thing in terms of I've spent a great deal of my career willingly ignoring the fact that people are participating in it, because it allows me to function without second guessing it, without thinking, oh, I wonder what people are going to think of this. Oh, I wonder what people aren't going to think of this. Is this to this? Is this to that? And so all of a sudden, the pledge campaign thrust into my reality the fact that there's a lot of people that participate in this and have an emotional investment in it or what have you. And it threw me for a loop in a number of ways because, you know, I've been talking in interviews recently about how it makes you feel about yourself. Like, I mean, it's really hard to foster self-love. It really is. And I mean, I think a lot of people who claim that they do have, you know, a definite lack of self-loathing are either lying or just in a place that I don't relate to, because I mean, I find it's very difficult for me to not hate myself, right? So the whole pledge campaign thing has really been like, it's like taking a compliment. You know, if someone says, hey, you know, you're good at this, or you're this or that or the other thing, my first reaction, a lot of people's first reaction is to turn it around or to divert the attention or whatever. But in a sense, that's really rude, you know? So I know we're going to okay, keep going. Don't even worry. So I think it's like, oh, grub. Yeah. And so basically it's like, my thought on it is it's forced me to not only accept that kindness from people without sort of flipping it around, but also how do you continue now that you're with the knowledge that there are a lot of people that participate in it. And so it's given me a good theme for the Ziltoid record. So thank you.
That is fantastic.
And the money to articulate it. Thank you. And we are hemorrhaging money on puppets and orchestras. So thanks.
That's what we like to hear.
Yeah.
Puppets and orchestras, like all you need.
It's awesome. Awesome.
But no, I think kind of it's really I know exactly what you mean, and it's difficult. And I think the temptation is to sabotage it just to kind of prove to yourself that you were right all along in thinking that 100%. You shouldn't have. Yeah.
100%. And that's the step. That's the step. It's so easy just to like give into that and be like, fuck it, they win. You know what I mean? Like, you're right, I'm an idiot. Oh, you're, blah, 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 blah. And that's what I find that the whole fight has been, is just not succumbing to that sort of self-destructive mechanism, specifically when you've got something like the pledge campaign that is almost like confronting you with it. It's like, look, there's people that enjoy it. There's people that want you to continue it. But what it takes for you to continue is to get past that shit, And so, in a lot of ways, the pledge campaign has been a catalyst for me to really confront something that I didn't recognize was such a big part of my creative process. And the byproduct of that is, if it was such a big part of it, does it all of a sudden change it?
Interesting. And do you become less creative because you've lost that driving force?
That's it. Yeah. So it's been very interesting. It's actually been very difficult. Not difficult in a necessarily a dramatic way, but just in a life way. I've been like, I can't do this. I don't want to do this. And it's like, but you have to. And then you're just like, well, it's not even a have to, because then it makes it seem like it's like a burden, which it truly isn't. It's wonderful. But the whole thing has just been a head fuck, and of the greatest variety, And I actually think that without the pledge campaign and this kind of thing, I think it would have been, the next step for me would have been to retreat again, So, yeah.
I think it's an unbelievably brave step, actually, doing the pledge campaign in the first place. And I think that's half the battle in a lot of ways, because it's, you're putting it out there with the knowledge that it's definitely going to change things. And so I think it shows that you're willing to at least
I appreciate it, thank you. But I think I would agree with that more if I had thought of that before it. My initial reaction was not like, this is a brave move. I was like, I want to make puppets. You know what I mean? So it was only after the fact that I was like, holy shit, what are we doing here, right? Yeah, I'd love to be able to say, yes, I went into this, feeling I was going to confront my inner demons, but no, I was just like, I want to make puppets. Awesome puppets.
And at least whatever else happens, you are going to have some awesome puppets out of it.
Oh, yeah. Well, you see this...
And like a fantastic choir by the sounds of it. Like everybody in the world seems to have submitted music.
But I think that's the thing, is it's like, what is it? Better forever than never. There you go. Bang.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat. Like, it's been such a pleasure. Yeah, you too. I could literally spend the rest of the day talking to you, but I think I might get shouted at just a little bit. If that
Felicity was in Retinal Circus, so watch it and check out Felicity. And I'm going to eat my grub that got brought to me.
Oh, fantastic.
Whoa, it's heavy. Feel that.
What's it put in there? That's like a stone of food.
Going in the bowl in about 3 hours.
Nice.
All right.
Well, yeah, but thank you so much. And we'll see you very soon. I have no doubt. Well, see you in September.
I'll be there.
How exciting.
Thanks,
Brilliant.
Felicity.
See you soon.
Good to see you again. See you, of course.